All right, hello and welcome back. This is our FitEssentials basics class. If you have the blood flow restriction training bands, we have already added air, so you can go ahead and do that now. I'll be using them the first 20 minutes of the class. No problem whatsoever if you don't have them. To get started today, we are gonna start standing. So when you're ready, go ahead and make your way up to standing. We're gonna do a little bit of a standing cat-cow for some breathing to warm us up a bit. Span those lungs. So as you come up to standing, walk your feet in so that those feet are just underneath those hips, toes pointing forward. Check in with your midsection. Sometimes our hips start to sink forward. So soft bend the knees, draw that belly into your spine. And now with the hands on the thighs, send the hips back. Keep those arms nice and long where it's coming in this bent over position. As you breathe out, you're gonna lift up through that mid back, draw your chin into the chest, draw that belly even more into the spine. And then as you breathe in, softly arch, lift the head and neck, draw the shoulders down the spine. And that's your rhythm. Breathing out, think angry cat back, blow the air out, and breathe in, gentle arch. I don't want you to have any pain in that low back. Good, twice more. Breathing out, breathing in. Beautiful. Final time. Good. And then as you breathe out after that last inhale, just push to the feet and come on up to standing. Feel free to stand near a wall or have a chair nearby to balance with as needed. We're going to come onto one leg, lift up the one foot, and we're going to loosen up those ankles a bit. Spin that foot around 5 to 10 times, really pulling up through the belly as you do so. You can practice that balance if you want. Turn the ankle the other way. Good. Take note of which leg you just did. And now in between sides, some hip circles, nice and soft, nice and smooth. Great time to give a little gentle smile to the face, help relax all those muscles of your face, and turn those hips the other way. Beautiful. All right. And then balance again, coming in. Lift up, squeeze your shoulders back behind you, turn your palms forward, and then ankle roll on the other side. Very good, 5 to 10 times. When you're ready, try to change directions. Roll that ankle around the other way. And rest, beautiful. From here, we're gonna get moving. Our first bit here kind of serves as a nice little warm up for us. So walk those feet in, hand at the side. We've got our glute march first. So for the glute march, you try to pull your foot high underneath the bottom side of your body as if you're trying to touch your heel to your bum or your sit bone. So instead of back behind, right up underneath, we're trying to get as much activation through that hamstring as we can. And we're altering those arms. So drive the arm as you lift the opposite leg. Good. Breathing out as you lift up, breathing in as you step down. Couple more. And go ahead and rest. Fantastic. Next exercise, you're going to walk those feet nice and wide. Root down into those legs. So grip your toes down, push your knees wide. You're going to reach your arms straight out. You can hold on here if you'd like, or open up the inner thighs. Our little side stretch, Cossack stretch, side lunge position. Standing tall, just nice and gentle here. Push your knee wide as you push that big toe down. Good, back to center. Same thing other side. Knee pushes out, big toe pushes down. Idea is to get a little gentle stretch on the side you're leaning away from. When you stand up tall, shimmy those legs back in. And then next we're moving to our march and punch. So toes forward, hands up high. Lift up through that belly and then breathing out as you punch. Try to keep that head high to look over top of those arms. It's going to help lengthen you through your spine. And then just find that rhythm that works best for you. If you want to move faster today, you can. But most importantly, I'd like you to have good control, pairing that one side of the body with the opposite side of the body. Excellent. Good. Just lift that leg as high as you can, but with control. Wonderful. Couple more. And 2, 1, and rest. Nice work. All right, we've got our side stretch flow next. So I have my feet about hip width apart, draw the stomach in, shoulders back. We're gonna take one hand, palm up towards the sky as I reach towards that opposite thigh, and then the other hand's gonna come up to overhead with the palm down. Breathing in, I'll switch sides, flow the other way. I rotate that palm up. Now the downside arm, and turn the palm down of the upside arm. We'll get about 3 times each way, flowing through. Just stay strong in those legs. I have that soft bend the knee throughout. Good, maybe one more time each direction, nice and smooth. Getting that little gentle side stretch out of the side of the body, side of the hip. And final time. Beautiful, and rest. Walk those feet in. Next, make a fist and roll the wrist around. Super. Good, and turn the other way. Wrist circles that other way. All right, wonderful. If your water cup is nearby, go ahead and grab a short drink. And then we're going to go one more time through. We'll be back to our glute march here in about 15 seconds. All right, so as you come into position, stand nice and tall, broad chest, shoulders back, hands at the sides. And once again, as a reminder, we're trying to activate the hamstring. So I'm pulling the heel underneath, not as much worried about how high I can get my knee, but flexing that knee so I can feel the back side of that thigh can engage. Good, so pumping those arms. Breathing as you switch sides. 10 more seconds. Eyes looking up and forward. That head high. Good. That's the way. And 2, 1, and rest. We're going to walk the feet wide once again. We did that side lunge this first time. Now we're going to work into our windmills. So you're going to anchor down in those legs, splay your hands nice and wide. And now the right hand comes towards that left thigh as you hinge the body back, push your hips back, squeeze the body as you stand up again, and then long spine, hand towards that opposite knee. And then just kind of check in, see where your range of motion is. If you want to reach a little bit lower on the leg each time you come to that side, that is fantastic. Just a gentle stretch, hinging over, squeeze that tush as you stand upright. And I'm really trying to bend at my hips. So long spine, pushing the hips back. Wonderful. One more time each way. Over and up, over, up, and rest those arms down. Great job. Walk the feet back in. We're going to be back to that march and punch next. Bend those elbows, and when you're ready, breathing out with that punch. And don't get lazy through that ankle. Sometimes that foot will kind of droop down. I want to see that ankle engaged. So when the knee comes up, lift the foot, lift the toes. All about some fall prevention here. Engaging that front of the leg. So then you can kind of train your body for that to be a reflex if you need it. 10 more seconds. And 2, 1, and rest. Good job. We're going to return to that side stretch with that little side stretch flow. So as you remember, we brought one palm towards the opposite thigh while that other hand reach up to overhead. Add a nice side bend with the body as well. So you're bending away from the side that's reaching overhead, and then we'll switch. If you feel stable through the legs, turn the eyes, glancing up towards that hand that's reaching overhead. Breathing in as you switch sides, breathing out as you reach and peer up. Beautiful. One more time each way. Good. Working the mind, working the body. And release. Nice work, friends. Walk those feet in, just kind of squirm around. Don't try to make it any certain way. Just feel how you can kind of move through the hips, shoulders. Just how would you imagine squirming? There you go. All right, that's the end of set 1. Let's grab a drink. And then if you have some weights nearby that you feel comfortable to use, we're going to be working some deadlifts on the start of this next round. We did a good job warming up that hinging motion, and that's that same motion we're going to be practicing here for the deadlift. All All right, so bring a light to moderate weight over. I've got a dumbbell here. I'm going to hold it right between the legs. I'm drawing my shoulders back, drawing the belly in with a nice soft bend in the knees, either 1 or 2 weights. We're going to send the hips back, lowering it straight down towards the floor, and then squeeze that tush as you stand as tall as you can. Just stacking the shoulders right over top of the hips. Excellent. We're going to be practicing this for about 45 seconds. Focus to engage that mid back. So squeeze those shoulder blades behind you as you stand tall, and then fight to hold that position as you bow forward. Good. Very nice. Excellent. Chest up, hips back. Good. And then squeeze the bum, squeeze the tush. Couple more. Long spine, controlling down, and then stand with confidence, standing strong. Beautiful. Last time. Knees push wide as my hips push back all the way up. And then as you set it down, use that good motion and set that weight down. Excellent job. Coming back to the center, warming up some squatting next. We're just going to work like a half squat on this first round. So feet about hip width apart, just a gentle toe out. And then when you're ready, you're going to reach your arms out in front of the body, push your knees wide. And as I mentioned, not as far down as you can go just yet, but we want to warm up that motion, sitting back. Try to kind of check in with your body, see if you can feel your heels in contact with the floor, but then notice the tendency for your toes to raise up. Try to push that big toe down as you maintain contact with the heels. Good. Driving back, eyes up, knees out, standing tall. Good. About 10 seconds left. If you want to try to pull just a little bit deeper, seeing how far down you can go with good engagement. Final time. Reaching back, arms out, pulling tall. Wonderful. All right, we're going to go back to the dumbbell, possibly a little bit lighter than what you were using for the deadlift. We're going to be working our dumbbell row as our next exercise. I'm going to demo off the chair. You can stagger your feet. I'm going to show it with the feet parallel in this first round. So I'm going to stand just in front of my chair here, midline nice and strong, soft bend the knees, and now I'm going to pick a hand, support through one hand with a nice wide handprint, grab my weight with the opposite hand. When you're ready, we're reaching forward, and then we're pulling that elbow straight up towards the sky, keeping the shoulder down out of the ear. It's normal to, turn the head to watch a few times, but then your head, we want that neck to be neutral with the rest of the spine. So turn the head and neck so you're looking straight down towards the floor or at the support hand. Breathing in on that forward reach, breathing out as you pull that elbow nice and high. One more. And rest. Set that weight down, stand up for a second. Kind of shift your body side to side. We'll take a short break, and then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite arm. All right, I'm going to spin around. Same idea, other side. So belly in, send those hips back, opposite hand supports. And when you're ready, reaching forward. One of our favorite upper body exercises, or at least one of my favorites, working that shoulder blade. Working that postural strength, we want to be able to sit tall and stand tall. And when we lose that strength in those muscles of the mid back, then it's a lot harder for us to stay upright. And also feel how you're kind of working that low back as well here. Holding that belly in, 1 or 2 more. And take a rest. Good job. Set it down, standing tall. Good. Back to our little rotations here. Loosen up that low back. Our final exercise of this circuit is going to be our sway steps. So you're going to keep the feet right about where mine are, about that hip width apart. And now remember, we're going to stretch those arms nice and wide, and we're going to sway our center of gravity over to one side. You can keep that opposite foot down or lift it up. As you transition sides, rest the arms down and then really expand, lift, spread the fingers. Good. Breathing in as you come down, breathing out. How tall can you be? Beautiful. Breathing in, breathing out. Woo, woo, woo. Good. Down and up. Wonderful. Try to smile as you lift up, expand. Good. You can imagine you're on the stage, floating, flying. One more time. Over, lift, and rest. Great job. All right, if you got those bands in, go ahead and release the air. We're going to go for another round of that, but I want to take a seat real quick and get a little bit more stretching in for the low back before we come to that last round. I'm sorry, we're going to do 2 more rounds of that. All righty. Going to slide these off. So go ahead and make your way to seated. We're going to do our seated forward fold first. I've got moose eyes staring at me to go outside. All right, buddy, go on. Let him outside before he starts barking at me. So as you come to seated, sit up nice and tall, draw your stomach in. You're going to go hands on the thighs, chin to the chest, and just gently slide on down towards the feet to get a nice stretch into that lower back. You take a couple nice deep breaths into the back. And when you're ready, make your way back up. All righty, just a short rest break there. We're going to get back to our deadlifts. So keep your chair nearby because we will be doing some more seated stretches here in a little bit. And now, depending upon what you have available, if you have a second dumbbell that you could hold to go a little bit heavier on this next round, I'm going to be holding a second dumbbell. Instead of holding 2 between my legs, which I could do, but sometimes it's a little bit awkward, I'm going to walk the feet in, toes are pointing forward, and now I'm going to hold the weights at my side, similar to like if I were carrying some grocery bags. Draw that belly in, squeeze those shoulders back with that soft bend the knees. When you're ready, long spine as you send the hips back, bring those weights just outside the ankles. Good. 45 seconds to practice this. Your choice on how fast or slow you want to move. But as you're kind of learning these motions and remembering these movements, the control on the down is key. So controlling that downward posture and then standing strong, breathing in as you control it down, breathing out as you push through those legs and stand tall. Nice. Good, Shirley. Big breath, nice and soft. Awesome, Diane. Straight up. Very good. About 3 more reps. Nice smooth pattern. Final time, down, up, and rest. Good job. We're going back to the squats next. I'm going to demo again without weight. If you feel like you want to hold some weight this time, you can. And if the range or the depth of the squat is challenging for you, use a little bit of an assist. I'm going to hold on to this chair here to help me get a little bit deeper. So walk those feet. I don't want to be overly wide, but they're right about hip width apart with a gentle toe out. And then when you're ready, I stay up this time, either holding on or reaching those arms out, looking to get into that depth. And then it's a little bit of a game here, right? Where you are trying to keep that nice deep range of motion. And it's a little bit tricky. You got to use your intuition because sometimes it's a little bit painful. The key is, does the pain get a little bit better as you keep moving? Is it a little bit like our our Tin Man or our Tin Woman of the Wizard of Oz? If it's a range of motion you haven't used in a while, it's going to be common to be a little bit stiff. But then ideally we want it to feel better as we get going. If it's ever feeling worse as you move, use that as a sign. All right, go ahead and rest there. And then we're coming back to our dumbbell row. So bring your weight into position. Toes should be pointing ahead. So no toe out on this one. Check in with those feet. Point those toes straight forward. Draw that stomach in. Establish that bend in the knees. And now back into that forward hinge. Arm reaches forward. And then when you're ready, straight up and down. Like I have that little rope on the back side of my elbow. And I've got that little mouse up in the ceiling helping me out. Pulling that elbow straight up. Helping build that postural strength through that mid back. And then notice the tendency for that head to drop forward as you reach the arm forward. And just focus against that. So draw the chin in, center the eyes forward. Couple more times. Breathing in as you reach down, breathing out as you draw up. 2, 1, and rest. Good job. Come all the way up to standing. Walk those feet out. Shake the body a little bit, rotate through the spine a little bit, and then we'll balance out that second arm. All right, good. So then getting back into position, toes pointing forward, stomach draws in, long spine as you send those hips back. Second arm in 2, 1, here we go. Forward reach, upward row. See if you can breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. You can add a little pause in the top, trying to pause and encourage that shoulder blade to sit back there, be nice and strong in that, like we call like a retracted position, retracted back. Breathe in, breathe out with that movement. And 3, 2, 1, and pause. Woo, good job. Stand it up. We've got our sway steps next. Into round 2. So now I'm going to walk those feet out just a bit wider. Splay those arms nice and wide. And then when you're ready, we shift our weight. You can come onto one leg if that feels appropriate, or just practice. It's called a sway step. So we step to one side and we sway that center of gravity. Practice having our body readjust. And you still get that benefit even if you stay on 2 feet. But the side you're leaning away from, try to come up onto the toe so that the majority of the weight is on your second leg. Wonderful. Breathing in and then stretch, expand. Twyla Tharp talks about we need to get big. We need to try to expand as we get older. She's like, when you get small, when you're shrinking, then you're headed towards death. So lift, open, stay alive. Good. Breathing in. Breathing out, one more time. Breathing in, breathing out, and rest. Nice job. Grab a drink, meet me back in the chair. We're gonna do another seated stretch before we come back up for our last round. You'll probably hear me talk a lot about Twyla. She's like my newfound hero. She wrote the book, Keep It Moving at 78. She still does dancing, ballet, choreography for lots of different dancers, and she's just such an inspiration.
Love that book.
Our side stretch here. Sorry, Diane.
I love that book.
Oh yes, Keep It Moving, and on the audio she reads it herself too. I just love her voice. She's so sweet. All right, sit tall, draw that belly in. We're gonna hold on to one side of our seat. Take the opposite hand, reach for that knee, bow the head down, and then slowly slide on down towards your ankle. Never forcing. And then about 3 times here, breathe nice and deep in through the nose, out through the mouth. Try to send that air to where you feel the tension. Good. In between sides, sit up nice and tall. And I want you to reach your arms up to overhead. Reach high and then bend to the side. And bend to the other side. I found it really cool too. She was talking about in her book, as she got older, she really focused on strength training, and she's pretty badass, if I may say so myself. She was able to bench press her body weight for 2 reps, and she was able to deadlift 2 times her body weight for reps as well. So that's a very, very strong lifts here. Take the opposite hand to the opposite knee, bow that head down, slide on down. But she knew the importance of building that strength in her body as she got older so that she could avoid injury. I think she said she was like almost 60 before she had like her first major injury that she had to pause from dancing. 2 to 3 nice deep breaths into the side, and then make your way back up. Awesome job. All right, let's grab another drink. If you have the energy to move one more time through that final circuit that we just did. And I shouldn't say final because we do have one more set coming up. But in about 30 seconds, we're going to be back to our final little bit of deadlifts, squatting, and the dumbbell row. And you can always modify a little bit. Maybe you feel like you want to do the dumbbell row, but the other exercises, you want to take a little bit of a break. Just try to keep your body moving, whether you squirm in your chair like Twyla recommends, or if you just kind of march around a little bit. Otherwise, 15 seconds till we start. I'm going to stick with the 2-weight example, holding one weight on each side of the body, toes pointing forward, draw that stomach in, and then whenever you feel like you are in position and ready, we'll start that forward bow, hinging forward, squeeze those glutes as you stand up nice and tall. And I'm also squeezing my shoulders back. Sometimes we'll see people, they'll overextend here. I don't want you to lean back. I just want you to stack those shoulders right over top of the hips. And then think about bringing the top of your head straight up towards the ceiling. Breathing in as you lower, breathing out, squeeze the bum, squeeze the shoulders, nice. Just watch, surely don't extend the head back, draw the chin in, and just imagine the very top of your head lifts up towards the ceiling. That looks better, very good. Yep. Keep those shoulders back and down. So pull them back, but no shrugging up. And final time, controlling down, standing tall, and take that pause. All right, last little bit of squatting. If you do feel up for an extra challenge today, you're welcome to hold some weights here. Maybe one weight underneath the chin, maybe one weight in each hand. You could also squat and stand to the chair with a little bit of weight. That's what I'm going to demo for today. Set the feet, eyes up, and here we go. Knees push out, lightly touch if you are going to a chair, and stand. Otherwise, if you can work that depth like we did on the previous rounds, that's always encouraged. But it's also totally appropriate to change it up. Sometimes you focus on the depth of your range of motion. Other times you focus on a little bit of weight being added, moving through a shorter range of motion. So as one of my old first coaches used to say, lots of ways to skin a cat. Maybe not appropriate. Breathe in as you lower down. Breathe out as you drive your feet into the ground. Squeeze that tush as you stand up. Very good. Couple more, friends. Controlling down, standing tall. Final time. Woo, good work. Dumbbell row, final time through. Once on each arm. We'll start here in about 10 seconds. So remember, now we're going to check in with the toes pointing forward. See if those hips are trying to sink forward. Rock them back and under with that little bend of the knees. Spread the hand nice and wide. And 2, 1, here we go. You feel like maybe you want to move a little bit faster this time. Reach it forward, draw it up, and just find that rhythm that feels best for your body. Coordinating that breathing, drawing that chin and chest up and back. See if you can feel those small little muscles that live on the front of the neck as you draw that chin in. Those muscles tend to get long and weak, and it leads to that like overly extended neck. 2, 1, and rest. Stand it up in between sides. We're gonna do our figure 8 in between sides. So hands on the hips, and then we just try to imagine we have a little pencil coming out of our belly button. I don't know how you would think that. We're drawing down though. Figure 8's on the ground. Bear with me here. And then we'll trace it the other way. I don't know if I do it right. That's the whole point. We're just moving, squirming, keeping that body grooving. All right, dumbbell row, second time. We'll start here in 10. Opposite arm, toes forward, belly in. Keep that little bend in those knees as you bow those hips back. And here we are. Reach it forward. Draw it high. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. Halfway. See if you can kind of wake up those thighs. See if you can kind of squeeze the glutes. Give a little flex the thighs as you move that upper body. It's tough. like that isometric engagement. So just meaning like you're not moving those muscles, but you're just trying to flex those muscles. And there's our time on the upper body. Woo! Stand it up. We'll go back to a little bit of loosening through the hips as we get ready for our final set of sway steps, working on swaying that body side to side, starting in 10 seconds. Alrighty, so I've got those feet about hip width apart. Take a nice deep breath in, spread those arms wide, spread those fingers wide. When you're ready, shimmy your weight to one side, lifting up. Woo, practice that balance and make that shift. The goal is to hold for 1, 2, maybe upwards of 3 seconds on one side, and then take it down, lift, expand through that other side. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. Just imagine if you're like at the grocery store and we just started opening up our bodies and stretching. It's kind of almost comical when we like zoom out and watch our tendencies as a society. You know, we're kind of all tend to be very structured. It's just, if you've ever heard anything about like, if you want to make people uncomfortable, you know, face the other direction in an elevator, or, you know, we just are so programmed to be very stationary and not disrupt too much. Sometimes I think about like, what if we were just a little bit more free in our existence and we could like dance in line at the grocery stores or not be weird to stretch. Open, and we're all done there, friends. Woo! Check it out. Give yourself a little applause. Let's go into our side step arm swing here. All righty, fantastic. We're gonna do just a short final circuit. We're gonna be working a front plank with the option to come onto like a single arm support from a front plank. And then we're gonna come up and work a little bit of single leg balance, maybe some tree positions. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So it's gonna be that front plank we traditionally do from an elevated position, walking the feet back. And let me show you from this way. And then if you feel like you can practice, you like lift the one hand up. If you feel secure here, you can even touch the opposite shoulder and practicing like that single arm support with what we would call like a plank shoulder tap. So when you're ready, toes forward, stomach draws in. I'm gonna kind of walk myself out. Ideally here, I'd like to be in that nice long plank. So shift your weight onto your hands, belly drawn in. And then if you do feel like you can shift your weight to one side, picking up the one hand, just don't let those hips drop down. Both feet stay on the ground for this one, Diane. Yep, and we're just moving the hands back and forth. Eyes forward. If it's not an option for you to come onto the one hands, it's not a big deal. You're still getting some great benefit by holding this double arm plank. Keep drawing that stomach in. And 3, 2, 1, and take a pause there. Walk it forward, coming on up. You might want to have yourself near a wall or have the chair nearby. We're going to practice that single leg balance next. So let's keep your left foot on the ground. Lift everything up, and then depending upon your comfort here, you can take that right foot, kind of inch it in against the ankle. And then you can lift it up. We're going to spend a total of 30 seconds practicing this. If you notice, I was starting to shrug my shoulders high, so I want to keep that neck long, palms forward, and don't let those hips kick out. So keep lifting up, 10 seconds left. Ooh. Here's my wobble for the moment too, and rest there. Good job. Short break. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. All right, so step the feet in. Establish that base position, squeeze up, work that foot in towards the ankle. You can hold on here as needed. 30 seconds has started. Good. I'm not making this look too easy today. Keep rolling those shoulders back, palms forward, eyes up. Less than 10 seconds. 2, 1, and wonderful job there. Woo! All right, let's open up those inner thighs, and then we're going to do that one more time through. So we did this in the first circuit, that Cossack stretch, that inner thigh opener. So now I'm gonna really walk those feet out, root down into those legs, and I do that little side lunge where I push my knee out on the side that I'm leaning towards. Keep the eyes up, foot in contact with the ground. And then I stand tall in between, same thing other way. Toe pushes down, knee pushes wide. Good. One more time each direction. I don't want you to have pain in the knee as you do it. Ooh, that gives me a nice stretch on that inner thigh. And center, second time, second side. Good. Eyes up. There you go. And walk it back in. All right. Final time on that front plank. If your water glass is nearby, grab another quick drink. This is our last series before our cool down stretch. All right. When you are ready, making your way into position, make sure whatever you're supporting on, I need to say this sometimes, I feel like more often, that it's nice and stable. You're not going to push it over. Coming on down, walk those feet back. Your goal is to try to mirror the top of a push-up. So I have my shoulders and hips in alignment. I can rest my heels down as well. It gives me a nice stretch for my calves and the back of my legs. And then only if you feel like it, from one hand, try to reach for that opposite shoulder or just barely pick the hand off the mat. Just changing it up a little bit from one hand to the other. We'll spend about another 30 seconds here. If you need to come out sooner, by all means. Chin in, looking down. Watch now, hips are starting to want to sink forward, right? So keep drawing that belly in, keep them high. Looks great, crew. Nice control. And when you're ready, walking it in, coming back to standing. We'll finish with that single leg stance. So you can either continue to anchor that foot against the other leg, or if you want to just practice that typical single leg stance, I'll lift on up, pull the hands back, and then similar when we did our ankle rolls earlier on in the hour. 30 seconds starts now. Hips level, eyes up. It's totally okay if it feels better to put that foot against. Oops. Good. Working that wobble, challenging that ankle of that downside leg, challenging that midline posture. Watch that shrug, almost done. And there's your 30. Awesome. Shake it out. Final time. Walk the feet in. Lift on up. I'm going to start with the foot up in front. You can do the ankle against. Any way you'd like to practice your balance. And if it feels harder than typical, a lot of times we do our balance work at the beginning. It's normal for it to feel harder now that we're at the end of the hour because your body is more fatigued. So all those little stabilizer muscles are like, whoa, what's happening? We're tired. But it's also great practice. Focus on your balance when you're tired. 2, 1, all done. Woo! All right, great work. Woo! Hello, muscles. Before we sit back down, we're going to open up those hip flexors. If you prefer that quad stretch, you can go right into that quad stretch, but I'm going to take you through the hip flexor version, like that hip flexor opening. So stagger the feet. Go ahead and rock back onto that heel. And now we're going to do the crossbody reach into that overhead stretch. So I sink back, reaching up and across, squeeze that glute of the trail leg. Good. Breathing in as I come back. Breathing out. I reach a little bit higher each time. Wonderful. Back and out. We're doing that quad stretch. Join us here for a few of these as well. Should get a little bit more of that side body. And then start to come right up to overhead. One more time there. Then we're going to switch sides. Good. Bring it down. Change it up. We're going to do a variation of this twice. The second time, we're going to add the tricep stretch. But first, let's get that crossbody reach on the second side. So rock back onto your heel, back and across. Find that flow. Good. Each time we reach just a little bit higher. Breathing in, drawing back, breathing out, reaching out. Good. One of my favorites. Lengthening all through those muscles and all through that fascia. When you're ready, let's start to go up to overhead. Reaching straight over top of the head. Good. A couple more. If you can peer up to that hand, that's awesome. Last time. Up, glancing up, and shake it out. Beautiful. All right, final stretch from standing. Then we're going to finish in the chair. So we're going to go back to the first leg. Rocking that heel down, and now we're going to add the tricep stretch. We're going to raise that arm up, really focus to tuck these ribs down and in. Draw the chin in as you bend the elbow. So pulling that elbow back, and now we add a good hip opener too. Squeeze that back hip forward as you try to like flex this muscle, that bum, the best you can. And then ever so gently bend towards your right side, if that's your right leg forward. Good, and come in and out of it. Breathing in, back to neutral. You can rock the hip back, shift it forward, eyes up, breathing out. Nice, gentle side bend. Good, final time. Draw that chin in, keep that neck long. And release. Beautiful. Side step arm swing. Shake it out in between sides. Not an easy combination there, but we get a lot out of it. We get to open up the hips, open up that upper body. Super. All right, final time here. Anchor down that front foot, rock back onto the heel, stack those shoulders over the hips. Remember, ribs down as we raise that arm up. Chin in. I'm going to show you from the side. So we're bending that arm like we're trying to reach for a little scratch on our back. Shifting this back hip forward, trying to squeeze that glute. Eyes up, and then ever so gently bending towards that front leg. Breathing in, bending out of it. Rock that hip forward, keeping both feet anchored down. Good. Final time. Hips back, hips forward, eyes up. And rest. Beautiful. All right. Find a little bit of side step arm swing. Crossing the arms over and alternating which hand crosses over. Good. And you know, when you're out walking, if you go out for walks, it's one of the best things we can do for our body. Sometimes we tend to like look here as we're walking, our arms get rolled forward. So think about when you're walking, all these positions we practice on, roll those hands forward, open up that chest so you can walk and stand tall, right? Pay attention. I see so many people even just kind of like walking around the stores, just kind of pulled forward. So really be aware of that when you're out living your life, walking around your house. Check in with yourself. Am I standing tall? Are my shoulders back? What can I do to kind of wake that all up? All right, join me in the chair. We're going to do our mid-back rotations. One hand behind the head, one hand on that inner knee. Breathe in, coming across the body. Breathing out, sitting tall, gentle overpressure into that knee as you turn the eyes and the neck. Roughly 5 times. Sink in with your breathing. If you can, breathe in and out the nose here. There's benefit to that also. Or in the nose, out the mouth is a good little in between. Pausing in that open position. Maybe one more. Open through that chest as well. So we're really trying to pull that elbow back, lengthen through the pec, and release. In between arms, we're gonna do our seated cat-cow. We started the session with this from standing, hands on the bottom of the thighs, breathing out, roll it all forward, draw that belly in, tuck that chin down. And then as you breathe in, you can just bring the hands up to like where you put your hands in your pockets. And I'm really broad through my chest looking forward. 3 to 4 more times. Round it down. Lift it up. Ah, good. Feel free to breathe out loud, little audible tones as your body may be appreciative of. Down and up, couple more. Syncing with your own rhythm, and then we'll get those mid-back rotations on the opposite side. The more you bow that head down, the more you'll tend to feel that nice lengthening for the back of the neck. When you finish there, again, remember, hand on the inside of the knee. This is where I'm going to gently push against. Hand behind the head, really draw that elbow back so you can lengthen through this chest area. Sitting tall, rounding down on the inhale, and then breathing out, pausing on that exhale. Breathing in, rounding forward, sitting tall, breathing out. The body's always interesting. I feel it a little bit different for myself today. I'm actually feeling it on the side I'm rotating away from, on the front of that torso. Typically, I'll feel it more in the rib cage of the side I'm turning towards. And I'm only sharing this just to give the example that I personally feel stretches in different places based upon where my body is feeling the most tension. You know, it's common to have similarities, but from time to time, you're like, oh, something got me a little bit stiffer there, feeling it a bit different today. And release there. Awesome. All right, apple picking is next. So seated, hands high, reach and stretch. We've got that apple tree just a little bit in front of our body. So we're reaching out. Keep that movement through the shoulder blade. We did a lot through the shoulders today without doing any direct overhead work. So that's kind of nice. Keep those shoulders moving without getting too much tension through the traps. And we are going to stretch those traps next. All right, wonderful. If you have a seated, like a cushion on your chair that you are sitting on, then I encourage you to lift your tush up, turn your palm down, sit right on that palm. If you're like on a wooden chair that's not working for you, or a metal chair, just rotate this shoulder back and have your palm out to the side. So from here, as I sit up nice and tall, I'm just simply doing that to traction this shoulder down to get some length through there. And now as I sit tall, I draw my chin in. I'm going to first look down towards my lap. And then ever so gently, I'm going to bring my chin towards the opposite collarbone. So if you're sitting on your left hand, then you're going to gently bring your chin towards your right collarbone. Just doing that, I feel a little bit of tension in the outer aspect of my neck along the side of that trap area. If you'd like, you can use the hand that is not being traction down to take just a little finger and give your neck a little bit of a break first. So sit up tall, bring the chin out of it, and then reposition. Chin in, looking back down. I don't like to hold those stretches too long. Sometimes it gets a little catchy. Gently breathe into that area. So now I'm feeling this one right up at the base of my skull on that, just that one side. So that's probably where I'm holding that tension. Release there. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. Lift the hip, palm up. Draw this shoulder back and down so you can lengthen this side. Tuck that chin in first, looking down towards your lap, and then bias the chin gently towards the opposite collarbone. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's a good stretch there. I'm going to breathe for a couple of times. I'm going to lift my head up, give myself a little bit of a break out of that position. And then one more time, I draw the chin back, looking down, and then bring it over towards that opposite collarbone. And now I'm going to use my free hand. I just have my one finger, middle finger, very gently on that opposite side. Get a little bit of overpressure. And when you're ready, go ahead and release there. Good. And then let's just focus on some lateral flexion. And sometimes when we focus on laterally flexing or side bending our neck, we kind of collapse our ear towards that shoulder. So think about, I'm there to say hello in person, and I'm going to grab onto your earlobe ever so gently and lift that ear up. So you don't literally have to do it, but just imagine lifting that ear up so you can lengthen through this neck without collapsing on the side you're bending away from. And then draw the chin in back to neutral. Imagine the same thing on the other side, lifting that ear up towards the ceiling. Good. One more time each way. Chin in, lengthening the side of the neck. And in. Gentle, gentle, gentle. And release. Good. Looking down, chin to the chest, and looking straight up. About 3 times there. Gonna leave the overpressure out of it this time. This was the one that we draw the skin down in front of the chin and then lift, push on the back of the head a little bit, but just up and down. Beautiful. All right, and then let's get some nice big circles through the arms and hands. Breathing in as you reach up, breathing out as you lower down. Good, a few more. All right, friends, give yourself a little round of applause. Anything else that your body might be asking for? Otherwise, thank you so much for being here to move with me today. Always a pleasure to move with you that get to come here live. Hope you all are keeping yourselves moving on the recordings. Oh, just lost my calendar. And I'll look forward to being here next time. Finish your water, stay vital, stay healthy, and do something fun this weekend. Put on some good music, move your body. Don't have to go out and make it exciting or make it fancy. Just find some way to have some fun in your home. Talk to you soon.